Hi, this is Christine Blackledge Crowell, and welcome to my video. And today I want to talk to you about my journey in becoming a coach. Now, this is not something that it took me like a couple of months for me to actually become a coach, for example. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this story is because I've been challenged lately about my experience, for example. And I want to really put the record straight here, okay? I've been in the coaching industry for just over 10 years. I started in 2013, for example. But before that, I'm going to take you back to the year when I wanted to be a coach. And I remember that I was speaking with my bank manager, and my bank manager was saying, hey, because I was saying I can, people are asking me questions and I'm able to answer those questions. So he was like, hey, you could become a coach. And I was like, oh, what's that? And he explained to me what that was. And I said, oh, so how much do you think that the rate that I could charge, for example, per hour? He said about £250 an hour. And that was back in, that was back in 1993. 1993, people were charging that per hour, £250 per hour. So you can imagine what that would be like today, for example, after all those years. Now, I was like on this quest, yes, I want to be a coach. I'm going to be a coach. And I always remember talking to my dear husband who passed away, and it was something that we built together, this dream, and we worked really hard, blood, sweat, and tears. And I mean that to the fullest core that you could ever imagine. Now, he turned around to me, Dave, he turned around to me and he said, Christine, how can you be a coach when you haven't experienced any of the things that you want to coach people on? And I looked at him and I was like, you know what? You're right. How can I tell people the pitfalls when things go wrong in a healthcare business, when things go right in a healthcare business, that you need patience, that you're not in this for a get-rich-quick scheme. You're not in this for it to be fast. You have to take years of dedication in order to build a strong business. So I went off into this quest to start healthcare businesses. And I did this for the very reason for what I am doing today, which is a coach. I did these businesses so that I could become a coach and help people to mentor them, to help them to be resilient and to overcome challenges, because they are challenges in healthcare businesses. It doesn't just drop into your lap and everything's going to be fine. It's going to be hard work, determination, and what is the reason of your why as to why you're doing it in the first place. Because if you are doing this for financial gain, then you should not be in trying to run a healthcare business, because it is not for you. Okay? Because of the vulnerability, but also because of the high levels of compliance, the regulatory bodies that you have to deal with as well on a constant basis to ensure that people are safe. Now, I did this because I wanted to be a coach. So I opened up multiple businesses. Okay? I did the care home for the elderly. I ran that to success. It was amazing. It was making money, for example. Okay? And then I opened up another care home and another care home. And then I closed them down. I did not sell them, I closed them down, and I had another healthcare business that I decided to do, which was care agency. Okay? I ran the care agencies. I had a nursing agency where I was registered with C-Sky back then, which is now known as CQC, where I was providing nurses in the community. I also did home care in the community where I was registered with C-Sky again, which is known as CQC today. You all know my story, because if you would have watched my videos from previously, what happened was that I closed it down. I'm not ashamed to say I closed my business down. Not because it was failing, because it became too overwhelming for me. And anyone that knows, that is creating multiple 7 figures in a care business, knows that it is hard work to get to that level. Very stressful. I had a 2-year-old child who needed me. And my option was my child, because I didn't want to continue with the stress of running a multiple 7-figure business. And also with that, what happened is that I had contracts with the councils, for example, and the rates were really good. And then suddenly, 3 years down the line, they cut my rate down by half. Imagine if that was you and you had staff members who were on a contract, not 0-hour contract, but on a contract for 30 hours a week. I had over 100 staff members. So you can imagine the impact on the business as well as with the staff members, because they were used to having, say, £9 an hour, which I was paying back in 2001, for example. £9 an hour, sometimes they would get £16 an hour because of what the rates were from the contracts that I had. So I was able to pay them a good hourly rate. But then I had a company set up just next door to me where I had my business, taking traffic from me. And secondly, the council decides that they're not going to pay me the full rate anymore and that they're chopping it down by half. You tell me how you would feel. You tell me how you would be able to continue without it causing stress to you, especially when you've been used to 3 years of having the rate that you agreed to. But I didn't read the small print that rates can change at any time after 3 years, for example. And that's my not noticing that, and I take ownership for that. And that, yes, I had to close it down because I had a staff member, 2 staff members that stole from me £150,000. That was back in 2004. Plus, they weren't invoicing. It was like there was 6 months worth of invoices that hadn't gone out. So basically it was sabotage. Now, how would you be able to cope as a business with that happening? Like I said, I fell pregnant. I had a young baby on my hands, plus my younger children. And I did not want to miss out on his life. My youngest son's life. I wanted to be a part of him growing up, because my other children, because I worked so hard, I missed out on those special moments. I had a nanny, for example, or a childminder, but they were seeing all the things that a mother should have been seeing. So how would you feel in that instance? Your motherly instincts kicks in. You will put your child first. And I'm talking today because of the abuse that I got from a company who is in competition with me, and they've only been in business for a year. And I'm being truthful here with what has happened with my businesses, because they are telling untruths. And I'm here to put the record straight. You're hearing the other side of the coin. Because what I've noticed is as soon as someone says something, that people believe what they hear, but without listening to the other side of the story. So this is why I'm mentioning this story. And they will always be competitors. I ain't got a problem with that. What I have a problem with is when they are being malicious as well. And what I also want to say is that with the agencies that I've had, which were successful agencies, but because of the stress, I closed them down as well. And because of the financial losses that was happening. So I decided to close it down because I couldn't afford to continue on with that way. The private clients, like I said, I wish I would have done it the other way round, because the private clients were the ones which were profitable. So going on from that story, I did a children's home as well. I did a mother and baby unit for a short while. I did a foster agency. I did a social work agency. And I also was able to do multiple healthcare businesses. Now, I haven't had 11 failed businesses. I opened up 10, 11 businesses, for example, but they haven't failed. I closed them down because my root cause for me doing this coaching was for me to set it up, run it, see how it works, so that I could put this knowledge into you to show you how to run these businesses, and to also talk to you about the pitfalls, because it's never easy. Not saying it is easy. There's difficult times. And for me, I needed to go through that to bring me to where I am today. 11 years, 10 years, well, over 10 years later, for example, and I'm able to show you the things, the mistakes I made. I made mistakes. You know, and I've said this before, there's nothing new here. But I wanted to do this video today to talk about this. I live in Cyprus, and I'm sure if you've listened to my videos that I talk about that I live in Cyprus. I was born in the UK, and I am doing business from clients in the UK. I am doing business from clients in America. I'm doing business from clients in Cyprus, for example. But we are a Cyprus company. And I live in Cyprus, and I'm a director of the company in Cyprus, which has been registered for 4 years now. I moved to Cyprus in the pandemic in 2020, and I do have a video here saying that as well. And why not? I'm allowed to live anywhere in the world and run a business and provide a service to whoever wants to have a service from our organization. And what this has really brought home to me is, especially in the UK, there's been some racism going on, and I have faced that this past week. And it's so wrong. We should not be facing racism. We have come too far, and it's like we take 20 steps forward and then we're doing 50 steps back. And it saddens me. It saddens me that people can stoop so low to become racist. They can be derogatory towards a woman. And I think it's completely disgraceful. That's not godly. But you know, no weapons formed against me shall prosper. I believe in God, and God is with me every single day. And He knows the truth. He knows what's in my heart. He knows the work that we have done in our organization. And to be accused of not providing a service is an insult to me and my team. They have worked really hard. Really hard. Some days they're doing 12-hour shifts, the same as me. We work really hard. And you know what saddens me as well, all of this happening, is the week that we lost one of our team members. They passed away. And it really is hurtful that people can accuse us of not doing any work. We have applied for contracts for people and they have got them. It's just that they haven't been able to recruit their staff members. That is not our fault. That is not our fault. That is not us not providing the service. We did provide the service. One client got 20 contracts applied for. You cannot turn around to us and say that we have not provided the service, because we have. We have applied for contracts, not just one and then that's it, because usually when you go to a bidding company, contract bidding company, they're not going to keep applying for contracts for you. They're going to apply for one and that's it. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But we keep applying. We kept applying for contracts. And the contracts system now is, it's really important that you as the business owner do your share. You got to put some skin in the game. You got to look for candidates, and those candidates have to be quality candidates. Otherwise, the contracts that you've got is going to be useless, because you cannot either be bothered or you can't find the right staff members. But that's not our fault, because we have delivered the service. And this is why I'm doing this video today, because it upsets me to think that people think that we haven't provided the service when we have. And I have got the evidence to show that we have. And just because someone, they're not, for example, that the Home Office has got their passport, that is going to make your your contract void, for example. We cannot control what the government is asking for compliance wise, and if you cannot provide that to us, then that is going to be a problem for you. We cannot force an organization that when you get the contract that they must use you. They will decide when they're going to use you. And you could be a tier 1, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, for example. They will use you when they need to use you. We cannot force them to do that. But this is why I'm doing this video, because I really want to make it clear to you. If you really want us to apply for contracts for you, you've got to be flexible. You've got to be able to be patient. Because patience is a virtue. You got to be patient. You got to be different. You got to stand out. Your team members, your staff members have got to stand out. They got to be high caliber. They got to have really good qualifications and experience. Because to the organizations that you got contracts with, they use other agencies as well that's got contracts. So guess what? They're going to choose the best person for that position, for example, to be filled, because they want to reduce the risk of any harm. So to the person that says that I've got 11 businesses and that they've failed, no, I closed them down. There's a big difference there. And yes, like I said in my previous video years ago, that I had to shut it down, I couldn't cope. And I have done that, but not 11 businesses. You got it wrong, and you're not telling the truth. So this is why I'm here today doing this video, to speak to you. Well, actually, no, not to you. To clients and to potential clients. Because at the end of the day, we do the work. And you go to, I'm asking you, you go to any bidding company, you pick the phone up. Just grab your phone, pick it up, ring them, right? And ask them, how many contracts do you get for this price? Is it one? What happens if you don't get the contract? That's it. See, I've spoken with a client, for example, where they paid someone £15,000 just to get them a contract, not for all the other packages that we offer, because we have high ticket prices. For example, we have higher packages that's like VIP, which is like 15,000 up to 36,000, for example. Okay, 50,000, for example, depending on which package you go for. Now, when I spoke to that person, that company only applied for one contract and they didn't get it. Guess what? Do you think when they rang back to see whether they could, do another contract for them, they turned around and said no. See, we don't do that. We apply, and we will keep applying until you get one. And sometimes it can take some time, because it depends when that contract becomes live. But do not turn around after we've gotten you a contract, and because you don't have the staff members to meet that contract, That is not our fault. That's not, the contract has got nothing to do with us finding you candidates. We provide the contract. You have got to have the staff members ready to fulfill that contract. Otherwise, another company that has got the contract along with you, because sometimes it can be 10 people, 10 agencies, for example, I'll use the word agencies, that has that contract, and another company will get it because they have got the right staff members. They've got high caliber staff members. That organization has looked and they compare because they want to choose the best. And then when that person's gone in and they've done such a good job, they're like, oh, that person's really good. You can come back again. That's what happens. So you have to be patient. You know, I wanted to come here and say this to you today. You know, you're going into this type of business. It's not easy. It's not easy. You know, and I've done multiple healthcare businesses. And this person said I didn't even work in the NHS, and I have worked in the NHS. I've even got the emails to prove it for my shifts. I have worked in the colleges as well. You know, so don't be talking for me when you don't know the true story. And please, whoever it is that's listening to these people, this competitor, which really, they're not a competitor to me. They're not a competitor to me. They've only been going for a year, for example. You know, and I think it's really sad because they're trying to get clients from me when they've only been running for a year, but because they can't be bothered to put in the hard work that I did over the 10 years, well, I might as well say 30 years, 35 years, the hard work that I put in, and you think you can just come in and say what you're saying after you being registered for 1 year in a company, and you're there trying to jump into my business instead of minding your own business and building it yourself from your own hard work and your blood, sweat and tears. I've served thousands of clients, and I can't please everybody, but I tell you what, from now on I will only accept clients that are willing to put the hard work in. Willing to put the hard work in. And that are realistic. This is why I'm coming on here to say this. Because I tell you what, like I said, no weapons formed against me. I will keep growing. I will keep developing. And my legacy will continue to grow. And this is the reason why I'm offering the solution of the virtual assistance agency, because I want clients to be able to grow, but they've also got to learn how to become leaders as well, and not just give up because you've come across an obstacle and it's like, oh, it's too hard work, I'm not doing this anymore, this doesn't work, you're a scam. No, it's hard work. Running a care business is not easy. And if the obstacle has stopped you at this point, then you need to look at yourself to see why. Because like with me, when I had my care businesses, the obstacles do hit you left, right and center. It's challenging. It's not easy. But remembering why you started in the first place is the reason why you will continue. You've got to have eyes. Well, they always say have eyes in the back of your head, right? But you've got to look at these things, because if you don't, then you're going to lose track. You'll lose track. You know, and I just want to mention this quote here that I've got here, okay? And here I've got, you'll dive into difficulty with determination. That's what you need to have in order to run a successful business, for example. A wise man's eyes are in his head. So I'm going to ask you this question. Are you the predator of your purpose? Are you passionate to serve? Looking beyond you, what you need? What is your purpose? Because that is going to be your driving force. You have got to get out of your comfort zone. When it gets hard, you got to push through. And you cannot be giving up as soon as you reach an obstacle. Because that way you're not living your true self. You're not being your true self. You know, I have hit obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. In my life, in my personal life, you know, I lost my mother and my husband, my husband of 28 years, both on the same day, one at 10 a.m. and one at 10 p.m. I have lost my brother. I have lost my twin brother last year, August, through cancer. And if anyone is a twin, you will understand how I'm feeling. Because that feeling never goes away when you lose a twin. I'm not saying any loss is any less, because all loss is just as equal, for example. But for me, losing, you feel like you've lost a part of you. And August is the month that my brother passed away. So it's been a difficult month for me. And then, to top it off, we lost one of our team members, our bid writer, who worked really hard. He worked really hard, doing 12-hour days, sitting at his desk with his laptop, wanting to please, wanting to serve, polite at all times, didn't moan. And the same with our other bid writer as well. But talking about the first bid writer that I was just speaking about, Jesse, he passed away just only last week. Tomorrow will mark 7 days that he passed away. And it's such an insult to hear that people are saying that we did not do the work, when I know that we did. We hold meetings. We go through clients' files. What's missing? What have they not provided? Chase them up. Ring them. Call them. Tell them we need this. We can't do this without. We need the insurance. We can't do it without. We need their ICO. We can't do without. We can't upload things without. You have to provide us with what we need in order to submit. Otherwise, you're going to miss your deadline. We can't just magically submit something. So this is why we were pushing you to get this information. And some of you haven't even looked at your emails. And yet, we did nothing. It's an insult. Our staff members have worked really hard. And we have the other bid writer. He works really hard as well. Even sometimes out of his own time, he will call you. He will email you. He will have a meeting with you. He will keep submitting for you. I looked at one of the cases, 20 submissions for contracts was done. And a lot of them were successful. But because you don't have the staff members, that's our fault? No, it's not. No, it's not. And I'm here to set the record straight that there's two sides to every story. And I think it's important that you hear both sides to the story, because we are not accepting that we do nothing, because we do. And it's very sad that this, I won't even call them this company is saying this, and it's so untrue. They've only been running for a year. They're there to fool you, and it looks like you've gone with it as well. But that's your choice. I'm not here to say go this way or go that way. What I'm here to say is our side of the story, our side. And we work hard. We work hard. Even weekends we've been working. And we've actually had some staff members get stressed that they can't even work because they are exhausted. They're tired because they want to please you. And it hasn't been good enough for you. I'm here today to talk the truth, to say what is in my heart, and to speak up for my team, because my team work hard. Anyone that knows me, even my family members, will even tell you that I do monitor, and I look and I watch, and I will question, I will see things. So I know from my heart that they are doing the work. So I just wanted to do this video today just to put the record straight, but also I really want you to think about, if you're going to go into healthcare business, and I was talking with another client today, for example, and we were saying it's really hard. You know, when you've got these contracts, you've got to perform. You've got to provide the staff. And if you don't provide the staff, well, why is that? That you're being questioned. Why is that? What happened? Why did that not happen? Well, we're going to have to look into this. I need an action plan. What are you going to do so this doesn't happen again? You know, these are the type of things that will happen. Will you be able to cope? Because you're seeing this first obstacle and you're not even coping with that. You've got to make sure that you're recruiting continuously. Every single week you recruit, so that you've got the best staff available to put them forward for that position. And when those positions come up, you have to keep putting them forward. You don't just do it for a week and then, oh, I can't be bothered, I'm going to stop now, this isn't working. You got to do it every single day. Just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep putting them forward, keep putting them forward. Don't give up until they say yes. Try different staff members. Don't use the same ones. Try different ones. because sometimes they want the staff in the location of where the contract is. So if you're sending a staff that is having to travel for an hour or hour and a half, for example, that can be no good to people. So you think about where and who it is you're providing the staff for. You know, what are they really looking for? Read the terms of business that you signed. Look at it. Read it so you understand. Don't say you've read it when you haven't. So I just want to, really drum it into people, care providers. We've got to make sure that we are compliant. You've got to provide all of the documents, and they've got to be right. They've got to be in date. Because otherwise you're not going to get it. It's not going to happen. You get the contract, but you don't have the staff. You get the contract, you have the staff, but the staff aren't high caliber. So they're going to choose the best staff from the agency that they feel is the best. So you have got to look at those options. And yes, I can see that some organizations won't use you. And sometimes that's wrong. Even though we're led to believe under the Contracts Act 2015, for example, that small to medium-sized enterprises are given a equal playing field of applying for contracts. Yes, we've ticked that box with the government. Yeah, we've applied for the contract, they've given it to us, but the next step is that why they're not using you. Why is that? Why do you think that is? That's where you need to look at. I'm not here to give you any theories or anything like that. I'm not going to go into that today. But you need to think about why they're not accepting your submission, for example, where you've got staff members and you're ready to get them sent out. You're seeing all these job offers, but you don't have the right staff member to fulfill that person, the buyer's need. So you have to really look within your company to look at the staff members that you've got. Are they high caliber enough? Because you've got to be, the staff have to be like really high caliber. They've got to be like an A. There's no point sending someone in that is a C, because they're not going to get it. That's average. They don't want average. They want someone that can be a leader. When they come into their organization, they want someone that can be, that's got common sense, but also that is dynamic. That's why they're looking for that. They're looking for that from you, to provide them with that right staff member. If you can't do that, then you're not going to be able to provide that service unless there's no one else to cover, and then you can then provide that staff. But you've got to keep submitting your staff members, putting them forward all the time, every single day. That is your duty as the director, to keep pushing them forward. You just keep doing. You got to be relentless. Then they'll start to see, and then they'll start thinking about you. You then become part of, let's choose this team, for example. Okay? Don't give up. Don't give up. You know, we have had clients that did turnovers that was very high, 20K plus a week, for example, 10K a week, for example. But the contracts only last for so long, 3 years, 5 years, if you're doing really well. Sometimes the third year they could pull it out from you because you've done something wrong. We had it where a client had contracts, signed a contract for 5 years, but because, not they did something wrong, because the staff member that they were putting forward wasn't compliant, of no fault of the client, but the staff member provided some wrong documents. So that then caused a problem for that client where they got audited and then they lost the work because of it. So you as the director have to be on top of things. And that's why I've ran multiple businesses, not for me to keep, for me to be a coach, to show you how to do it, to show you the pitfalls, to show you things that you shouldn't be doing. I didn't run this, those multiple businesses for me to be like making, well, I have made, millions, for example, but not for me to continue and to keep just focusing on that, because I would have been a coach today. And I didn't want to sell it either. So, because I didn't want to. I could have done, but I didn't want to. I've given some away. In Sussex, no charge. My decision. So, back to, I really want you to understand about who I am, and I'm looking for people, care providers that are patient, that will accept when they've been given a contract to provide the staff members. And yes, it's going to be, they want high caliber staff members, support workers, social workers, mental health, for example, nurses, living care. There's so much there for you, but you've got to provide the staff members. And once you do, you'll be fine. But the staff members have got to be there. But I just wanted to, jump in here just to talk about things in a realistic manner. I've been doing this since 2013, and I've learned so much. I really have. Me running those healthcare businesses because I wanted to learn how to run them so that I can show you what it is I did, for example, so that you don't have to spend 20 years trying to figure things out. But if you stick with this, within 2-3 years, there's no reason why you can't get a multiple 7-figure business, or even a 1 million. It depends how much you want to earn, but it doesn't come fast, because you got to learn how to build your business up, and it's got to grow with you, because otherwise it will run out of control, and then you'll end up where you get stuck, especially if you get factoring, which is invoice finance factoring. I'll explain that to you. Invoice finance factoring is where you will raise an invoice and the bank will give you up to 85%, 90% of that invoice once you've done that, what will happen is you'll be able to draw money down to pay your staff members their wages and pay bills so that you can pay staff members weekly. However, if you grow too fast, which this happened to me as well, if you grow too fast in your business, then what can happen is that you end up getting a block whereby invoices that are 90 days, they end up blocking the new invoices. So you can't have any money to the equivalent that was blocked by the bank, right? So say you've got, say, invoices that are 90 days old, for example, and you've got 60 grand worth of invoices, okay? Because when you start growing quick, so one week you could be doing 57 hours a week, then the following week you could be doing 150 hours a week, then the following week you're doing 300 hours a week. So you're growing too fast for the invoices. So what could happen if you're not chasing those invoices to make sure they've been paid is that you could end up with a block. What do I mean by that? I'm just going to drink my water. So the block is whereby, like I said, if the invoice is 90 days old and you've got invoices that have amounted to 60,000, for example, you've invoiced fresh invoices for the week for, say, 50,000, and you want to draw down money from the new invoices that you've raised when you've got 60,000 that are 3 months outstanding, then that means you can't get any money, for example, okay? Because there's a block, okay? So that's why it's important that you grow within your means and you grow your business. Don't just grab and take everything. You want to grow your business so that you're in control, so that you're chasing your invoices every week. For example, you have to be aggressive with invoices, and you know, we don't like doing it, but we have to because we've got to pay the bills. We've got to pay our staff members. We've got to pay for things. It's not a free service, for example. So you've got to chase the bills for when it is due, for example. Otherwise, it puts you into money problems. Take it from me, I've been there, okay? Secondly, you've got to make sure that you're in control. Okay, you don't want your business running away with you and then you're going to end up with this block situation at 3 months because you've grown your 3 month time, you've doubled, and you've got a block there for 60,000, but then you've got invoices, say, for 120,000. Okay, so you know, be careful because your wages will go up and all of those things that you have to think about. And that's why it's important that when you're running your business, you've got to learn how to run your business so it doesn't run away with you. You know, you don't want your business to run you. It's got to be the other way around. Okay, so you know, I'm here today just to talk to you about some realistic things that can happen in your business. You could sign up for a contract with a council, for example, and then, you know, 3 years down the line, or with any organization, for example, 3 years down the line, there may be like a tiny little print where they say we're allowed to change our prices, which, you know, they are, you know, especially when it's the public purse. I understand that. And what can happen then is that all of a sudden you were working for these hours at this rate, then all of a sudden the rate's gone down by half. I'm just using an example here. And you've been paying your staff at the full rate because you've been in this bubble, this security net, whereby the staff members have been getting a really good rate of pay because you've been getting a good rate of pay. And then things can change and they can turn around and say to you, right, this is going to happen in 3 months, and there's nothing you can do about it besides hand it back, or you continue on but you're working at a lower level and your staff members are working at a lower level, and guess what's going to happen? They're going to feel unworthy. They're not going to feel valued. So, like for me, I handed back my hours because I thought they're gonna walk. It was not viable at that rate because of the rate that we was used to being paid. So we were living up to that standard as a company with the staff pay and things like that. So I just wanted to, I want you to be aware that, running a healthcare business or any kind of business is not easy anyway, but when you're running a healthcare business, there's a lot more responsibility on you as the care provider. You're responsible for everybody, and you have to be prepared. It's like you're going into the gym, you got to be fit, you got to be ready, you got to build up your muscle in order to get stronger as the years go on, and then you'll be able to be at a really good level because you built the stamina to be able to cope with the hours, and staff members will want to come to you as opposed to going to the other agency, for example, because they know that you're the one that will look after them and that you care about them as well. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Like and subscribe and listen to further training. But I also want to say to you, if it is hard, don't struggle by yourself. Get a virtual assistant. We offer them. For example, we monitor them, we train them. They go through 6-week training, for example, and we also monitor them whilst they're working. So we can see them. We have a big screen. We can see them working on your business. They also share their screen as well, and they have their cameras on, so we know that they're working. We can hear and we can see as well. So do inquire about our virtual assistance agency, because why struggle alone when you can pay someone, a VA for example, and they can do the things that would take you a whole month to do. They could do it in 2 days, for example. Your time is valuable. You can't get that back. So let's not waste it. Just click the link here, okay, to discuss further, and I'd gladly speak with you. We have got our free training. We've currently got a boot camp going on at the moment. We've also got next week, we've got our contracts boot camp as well. And we've also got our CQC boot camp, which is going to be next month. And we're going to be doing that every 3 months as well. So do click the link if you want to know more, because I think it's important that me as your coach, that I'm actually training you how to look after your business and run your business, and you become empowered. But it has to come from within. I can't push that on you, and I'm not going to. You have to want to do it for yourself. I'm not here to force you, because this is your choice. So thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking with you all soon. Take care. Bye for now.